Some updates to the new California garden, all the harvests we made this month, our first step into hydroponics. All this and a lot more in today's episode of California Gardening. We will begin with a garden update, we will look at all the harvests we made this month, and finally we will review a cool gardening product for hydroponics. So let's begin with the garden tour. As you can see, we are getting ready to get our garden set up. We will be planting a lot of vegetables in the raised bed garden that we will soon be creating. But right now the background work is being done for the garden. All the electrical connections are being laid out. All the PVC pipe connections for water in all areas of the backyard is being set up. So it's just a whole lot of work that's going on. And eventually, once all this is set up, we will be ready to create a vegetable garden here, where we are planning to put a lot of raised beds. And around the area, the patio area, we will have some containers as well. But this will take quite some time. As you can see, we are just beginning our work. And I'll keep you updated on the progress on what we are doing and how we are setting up the garden each month. And this is the area where we will be having our raised beds. As you can see, it's quite a large area. And we're going to have a lot of raised beds in this area. In the meanwhile, we are growing everything in containers. You can see this beautiful rose that's growing in this container. It's a very fragrant and nice rose variety. And we're also growing some plants indoors under our grow lights. And I wanted to show you our grow light setup. We basically have some area under our stairs, which we will be using as a growing area. And as you can see, it's a nice place. The ceilings are a little low here, which actually helps in mounting the grow lights. So all in all, this setup has worked really well so far. And although I've moved the tables around a bit, this is the area that we are using to grow our plants indoors. And the LED lights are doing a good job of keeping the plants alive, and the plants are really thriving. And now let's look at some of the harvests we made, beginning with fenugreek. Now, as some of you know, fenugreek it's actually a leafy green that's extremely delicious and extremely good for your health. Now, we were growing these fenugreek greens in the Vermistera coco coir mix, the fine coco coir mix, mixed in with some worm castings. And as you can see, the plants have grown really well. And they have been growing under grow lights for about a month now. And we just kept it outside for a few days before we started harvesting it. And fenugreek is very delicious. We usually add some spices and stir fry it and eat it. You can also eat it raw. It has a lot of health benefits. And it's also very delicious. The way we consume fenugreek greens is to cook it with spices and then eat it with something like tortillas or rice or quinoa. But there are a lot of ways to prepare fenugreek. And if you look up some fenugreek recipes on the web, you will see that this is a very interesting leafy green that's not only super easy to grow in your home garden, but can also be used to prepare a lot of dishes. And as you can see, the coco coir mix is quite fine and we can reuse most of this mix. This is the Vermistera coco coir mix, the fine one. We've also used the one with the cocoa chips, which is good for larger containers. But for microgreens and growing herbs and leafy greens in your garden in smaller areas, this is a great potting mix. It has fine coco coir, and once the plants have grown, you can remove the roots and compost them and still reuse a lot of the potting mix, as you can see here. And this is how a harvest looks like. As you can see, very healthy leafy greens. The fenugreek greens are quite awesome. They taste amazing and are extremely easy to grow. Moving on to guavas. We were growing this guava variety, which is extremely delicious. This was given to me by a friend, and I'm really thankful to him for giving me this guava variety. This is a white guava variety, and it's extremely sweet and delicious. Moving on to the golden nugget tangerines. This is a new variety of tangerine that we've been growing for about 2 years now in this container. And this is the harvest season. These tangerines are absolutely delicious. They're quite sweet and are extremely easy to grow in containers, and is also a dwarf variety. We also have our cashew mandarin plant that you might have seen in the previous episodes as well. That's growing in this container. This is once again a dwarf citrus variety. And this produces these small mandarin oranges that are extremely easy to eat. Kids love these mandarins just because they're so easy to peel and eat. And they also yield a lot. The Kishu mandarin was probably one of the highest yielding mandarins that we have grown in the past few years. Now I do plan to plant some of these trees in the ground once the garden is set up, so we'll have to plan for some space and see how we can plant these trees in the ground. But for now, these plants are growing very well in these containers. I have a lot of fruit trees that are growing extremely well in these containers, and they'll continue to grow in the containers for quite some time. And the oranges here, they look amazing. They're extremely delicious. And this is one variety that I highly recommend you grow in your home garden. Moving on to winter radish. The winter radish that we were growing in this container was the one that I showed you in one of my previous episodes as well. And this has been growing in a sandy potting mix, which is great for growing radishes. And this is the winter radish, which takes time to grow. Unlike the quick maturing radish variety, which is also smaller in size, this is a large radish variety. It's quite pungent, and although we could have let this grow for a little longer, we thought it's time to harvest them so that they are tender, juicy, and very crispy at this stage. Moving on to our indoor vegetables. The indoor vegetables that we were growing included peppers. This is the bird's eye chili pepper. The bird's eye chili pepper is a very hot pepper variety that can be easily grown under grow lights. And this is the first time we are trying to grow pepper indoors under grow lights. And so far it's been quite successful. I think the plants have grown quite well. Now they do need to be watered a lot more when growing indoors. But as long as you take care of the watering part, the coco coir base mix plus the vermicompost is just amazing to grow these plants indoors. You don't need any fertilizers or amendments. They will grow very nicely indoors. And the only thing I really did was I shook the plants a little bit so that the flowers get pollinated and forms fruit like peppers and tomatoes. Now we also have some cilantro and tomatoes that we were growing under the grow lights indoors. These are the cherry tomatoes. And the cherry tomatoes are extremely easy to grow indoors. They grow quite well with limited resources and they will produce good fruit. Now just remember that you need to either shake your plants or hand pollinate them because you don't have pollinators indoors. And we're also harvesting our cilantro. Now the cilantro plant is one that I really like to grow indoors just because they're extremely clean and they're extremely crisp, fresh and delicious when they're grown indoors. And they're also very easy to grow indoors. So this is one plant that I do recommend that you grow indoors or under grow lights. And now let's move on to the gardening products section. This month we will be reviewing the Greenjoy Hydroponics Home Grow Box. This is an excellent way to hydroponically grow plants in your home. And this is an excellent product to get started with hydroponics. This is an extremely compact, very modern looking hydroponic kit. This is a grow box that you can easily use indoors. This package comes with a lot of accessories as well, which we will shortly go through. As you can see, we are unboxing this grow box. You can see these are the lids that will cover the plants when they are being grown. And we have some foam seed starting kit as well as a tray as well as some other minor accessories that we will soon see. We also have the lids or the covers for the plants. We have the instruction manual, and the instruction manuals are quite concise and quite helpful. Although I will go over all the steps of assembly so that if you like this product you can buy it, and I will provide the link to this product in the video description. And this product was sent to me by the company, but the review is just an honest opinion of what I think about the product. All my reviews, by the way, are honest opinions, true to life opinions about the product, not that somebody's asking me to tell you about something. So just keep that in mind whenever you see a product review on California Gardening. It's always a very honest review of the product. Now we also have this LED light, this large LED light that's actually the cover for the grow box. And then we have the base. So the base is what actually holds all the water, on top of which the lids go, and then the plant covers and the smaller lids that hold the plant in place. We also have nutrient solutions. So when growing hydroponically, since there are no nutrients in water, you have to add nutrients by yourself. So this is a combination of two nutrient mixes, the type A and B. And these are the stands or the sides that will hold the box together. And we have the power cables. So all in all, a very compact box, and once we assemble this, you will soon see that the box is quite easy to assemble. And that was the power adapter and the pump. And they also provide a little rubber straw or a plastic straw that can be used to empty the water. and these are the sides as well. And now let's start assembling this box, this grow box. Now we first lay down the base. This is the base that will hold the water. And then we have the 4 sides that just snap on, just like you see here, extremely easy. And all you do is you attach all the 4 sides, and one of the sides actually is connected to the pump. It just gets power from that one side that you see. And all we do now is attach the other 2 sides. And growing hydroponically is a very interesting way to grow plants, and I've never really grown plants hydroponically, so this is going to be my first attempt, and we'll see how the process goes and whether we are successful in growing them. Now the sides do have numbers on them, so you know which direction the sides go. So you can see the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4, which indicate which side goes on which corner, and this makes it really easy to assemble the product, and the company has done a good job on the assembly instructions. And all we do now is attach the pump, and we have to now attach the top, which is the LED light, and the LED light just snaps on as well to the corners very easily. There's a little latch that you have to pull and then just press down on the side. And it might take you a couple of attempts. As you can see, I did fix the one side, but then when I went back to the back side, the front side came a little bit off. But once you get the knack of just fixing everything in place, they just snap right on, and they're extremely easy to assemble. And it's just a matter of getting that one side in, and once that one side is in, the rest of the sides are quite easily assembled. They go in quite well and they fit into the slot quite easily. Now the next step is to attach the openings for the plants. Now this is the tank is at the bottom, and we are attaching the plastic covers and the holes that you see here, which will allow the plants to grow inside the water. And there are some side protective nails, and I didn't find a lot of use for these nails, but if you have kids running around the house and you don't want this unit to topple over, you can always attach this, and then this actually attaches back to the wall to secure it in place. We have the power connector, and as you can see, there are 2 power connectors. One is for the inlet for the power, and you can actually use the other outlet to daisy chain multiple grow boxes, which is quite a clever idea. And this unit has a built-in timer, so you don't have to worry about how long this unit stays on and off. When you turn it off, the light just goes off, and when you turn it on, the lights come back on, and it's an automatic timer. You don't have to worry about it. Now to actually grow the plants, you need to do a few steps. The tray that's included and the foam starting kit that is included is very helpful. And what you do is just take the foam and put it in a tray. We have some tweezers as well, and we have some seeds that we will be planting into this foam seed starting kit. And all you do is take the foam and then add some water, and you can keep it in the tray. The tray is already provided with the product, and that makes it really easy. And you want to make sure that the foam is completely soaked in water. And once the foam is completely soaked, the seeds will actually go into these little holes in the foam. The foam or the sponge like seed starting medium is actually quite clever, and it works quite well, as you will soon see. Now to sow the seeds, you can sow 1 or 2 seeds in each hole. Now I did end up putting 3 seeds or so in some of the holes for the smaller seeds like amaranth. And we are sowing cilantro, amaranth, lettuce, dill, and these are a lot of seeds. And to make sure that the seeds are actually secure, you need to just use the tweezers to just push them in slightly. You don't have to be too aggressive, but you want to make sure that the seeds do not move while they're germinating. So the tweezers really help with this. They help you secure the seeds into this foam starting kit. And as you can see, in just a few days, the seedlings will start showing up. Now at this stage, you still want the seedlings to be in contact with the water in the tray. So make sure that your tray is not drying out. And one of the most common mistakes we make is to let the tray dry out. And now let's talk about preparing the water tank. Now for every 1 liter of water, we need to add 10 ml of this nutrient solution. And to start with, we are using 4 liters of water. So we will be using 40 ml of this solution, the solution A. So 4 liters of water and 40 ml, easy calculation. And every time you refill the tank, you can use the same proportion, which is 1 liter of water with 10 ml of each type of solution. So we have 4 liters of water here. We have added 40 ml of solution A, and we're going to be filling the tank with this solution. Now this is a nutrient solution, and as the plants grow, they will take up this solution and grow well. So plants do need light, but they also need nutrients. And this is where this nutrient solution comes handy. And this is the solution B. And the only difference I see between A and B is the amount of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium in it. And we've again taken 4 liters of water and we're adding 40 ml of solution B. And you don't have to be very careful about mixing it, because as you water it, the solution will mix by itself. And we are now taking this 4 liters of water and adding it to the solution tank. And this solution tank can easily hold 8 liters of water. I was initially a little skeptical about how much water this tank could hold, but I was quite impressed. And all you do now is turn it on, and you can see that the LEDs are now lit. We'll now proceed to install the covers. But before that, you can see the pump. Now this is an automatic pump. I've never had to do anything about it. And this little plastic or rubber straw that they give you with the kit is actually used to empty the water solution. So the pump comes in quite handy for that, and we'll do this later. The tank has to be cleaned out once every month or so. And these are the little caps or lids for the plants to hold the growing baskets in place. And you have one for each opening that's provided. And this is the easiest to assemble as well. You just put it on top of the opening and it fits right in. Now there are 15 openings here, which means you can grow 15 plants at a time. And they've also provided these caps that can close the openings. Now the reason for doing this is so that you don't get any algae growth, which is not desirable, although it doesn't cause any harm. But interestingly, they only provide 3 per kit. And I thought they should have at least provided about 7 or so that you can at least keep half of the openings covered. And these are our seedlings now. As you can see, we can separate out the sponge, the growing medium here. And it is recommended that you wait till the roots are at least about a few centimeters down, coming down from the bottom, as you can see here. And the reason for that is the root has to be touching the water. And if the roots don't touch the water, this foam medium is going to dry out and the plant will die. So just make sure that your seedlings are big enough before you start transplanting them. And for this reason, I'm only going to be transplanting 2 seedlings for now. And as time goes by, I will be planting the other seedlings as well. And all you do is place them in the growing basket that's provided. And all this is included with the kit, as you have seen. It's extremely easy to use. You just put it in the basket and then put it in the holding area. And the roots will now grow into the water solution that's there beneath. And you can grow any type of plant here. We are just growing some of these plants, the cilantro, the lettuce and the dill, just because we use them a lot. And as you can see here, the plants have now started growing and they'll grow pretty quick. And this unit keeps running automatically. And within 10 days, you can see the plants have now grown a new set of leaves and they're growing quite well. And the lights turn on and off automatically. You don't have to worry about it. And you can see the root system has now started developing. There's something about hydroponics that I really like, and that is to watch the roots of the plant. And for the most part, when growing in soil, you actually don't look at the roots. But as you can see here, the plants are growing quite well, quite nicely. This is the amaranth plant. And we have the cilantro and the dill plants as well. So all in all, in 10 days, it's been good progress. And 16 days later, you can see that the plants have grown even larger and the root system has started growing even better. Most of the plants have nice, dense root systems, which is nice to see. And you can actually start harvesting from these plants even now. And 30 days later, you can see that the plants have grown quite large. It actually looks quite beautiful. And overall, I'm very impressed by this unit. It looks quite good. And 40 days later, we are going to be harvesting now. And we're going to be harvesting the dill first. And this dill is absolutely fragrant. hydroponically grown, so there are no insects, no diseases to worry about. They are indoors and they're growing in a sterile growing medium, which is water and nutrients. And you can see here the dill harvest, it looks quite good. We have one more dill plant, and dill is quite an interesting vegetable or herb to grow. The leaves have a nice pungent smell and you can use it in a lot of cuisines. And it's really a joy to harvest fresh, crispy greens right inside your home. And this is what this growing kit lets you do. So the Greenjoy Grow Box, I'm quite impressed overall. It can be stacked and you can have multiple grow boxes as well if you want to grow more. And it has a full spectrum LED light. It has an automatic on-off system. So you don't have to worry about it. Just turn it on and it'll just keep growing your plants. And if you want to buy this product, do check out the link in the product description below. I'll provide that in the comments as well as in the video description. So there we have it, folks. That was our California gardening episode for January. If you like this video, do give us a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments box below. We'll see you again soon. Happy gardening.